Hey, good morning, everyone. So, as promised, we're going to be using color pencils that you all been waiting the whole year to basically use. So, we touched bases on it a little bit before this whole coronavirus stuff started to happen. So, we have a little experience, so we're going to kind of pick up where that left off a little bit. And we're going to start to learn how to use the color pencils on your flower drawings. So, here we go. All right, so the first thing you want to do is probably go on Google and find a picture of a flower. You're more than welcome to use your own original pictures of flowers if you have any on your phone, or you have a beautiful garden with flowers. You can go take pictures of those as well. So the picture I found was this really pretty rose here. I like this one because it has a lot of pinks and blues in there, and I tend to really like those colors. But when you're working with color pencil, you really want to focus on finding a picture that has lots of value as well. So we're gonna get into work with a little bit of color value as well. So when I'm looking at this picture, I see these purples, I see these blues, but then I see these deep blues and reds and all those colors along with the whites as well. So this has a good range of value along with lots of fun colors. So find a really colorful picture. Don't use clip art. I know most of you won't, but you know, there's a few of you. So don't use clip art. So now that we have our picture, we're gonna get ready and get started with putting down the fun colors of it, okay? You can print your picture, you can work from your phone, you can work from an iPad, you can work from anything that you want. You can draw your flower from real life if you want as well. Just make sure you take a picture so you can send it to me. All right, so we're gonna get ready to start to use the color pencils. So far, we've learned burnishing, which basically means getting rid of the paper underneath it to create a waxy consistency of the colored pencils. Again, we are going to be using Prismacolor pencils, as all of you should have, and also should have taken home. All of you responded that you have them at home. If you do not, you're gonna have to purchase some for this lesson, or you can also use regular color pencils as well, because I'm not really particular in this moment. So let's start with the color pencil. So the first thing I want to do is look at the picture. So again, this is the drawing or the picture I'm going to be drawing. So when I look here, I see typically pink and blue and some violet. But now I want to kind of look through the picture and start to see some of those areas that are not necessarily pink and purple. So I look in this shadow area and start to see some dark blacks, some browns, some dark violets. As I move around, I see different shades of blue, different tints of blues as well. I see different tinted shades of red and pink. So those are the colors that I'm basically going to grab a ton of. So as you can see, I have my assortment of colors here. So I grabbed 3 different shades of blue. I have a pink, I have a red, I have some browns, I have some violets as well. So now I'm ready to start. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start mixing the colors. So again, when you're applying your color and putting it down, you tend to wanna put your darker colors down first. So I'm gonna start by creating layers. So I'm gonna start right here in this core area, work my way out. So I'm working with a black right now. So I'm going to be putting in a nice thin layer. Now normally I will erase my outlines as I go, but since this is so dark, it's gonna cover my pencil outline. So put down a nice little light layer of black. Then I'm going to start burnishing with this magenta red color to create a nice dark shadow. So pressing hard, again, burnishing means pressing hard. If your hand's not hurting, you're not doing it correctly. So that's gonna give me a nice dark shadow, and I can always come back to that if I need to. So as I look around, I start to see that the lighter pinks are gonna be on the outside of this area. So I'm gonna use my kneaded rubber eraser and soften some of those lines. Again, the reason why I do this is because the pencil is graphite and shiny and reflective. So the color pencil is waxy. So you don't want to trap your pencil marks underneath the wax of the color pencil. So now I'm gonna start to layer up some of my colors. So layering always helps with kind of getting your exact color down. So you can start to put it down here. You can see I'm using a nice smooth shading technique, so you're gonna see how that definitely is going to come into using pencils as well. So I'm building up a nice light layer of that pink color. I'm gonna put a little bit over here as well. So then I see that this has some more undertones of more red violet. So I'm gonna hide a little bit of that in there as well. Here. This is coming away from the shadow, so it's gonna be a little darker in this area also. So then I'm gonna go with my pink and I'm gonna start burnishing with my pink. Hopefully those colors will come together. Now there are several different ways to color match and create different colors. Not just one way will help you get there. You're going to be putting down different colors to kind of hopefully bring that to life. And what's really important is you want to make sure you're getting the color values too. You don't want it to be such a solid color. You don't want to be like, oh, well, that's pink. I'm going to only make it pink. I'm going to add purples in there as well. Now, again, I said at the beginning that you always want to put your darker colors down, but sometimes you realize that you need to make it a little darker after you burnish. You can always go over top and burnish again. Now, sometimes when you burnish too much, your color pencils will start to resist the colors you're applying. So that means you're putting down too many colors. So you do have to be a little bit more accurate in your color making as well. So when you're mixing colors, you're more than welcome to use a scrap piece of paper and test them out on the side. So if I was like, okay, I'm gonna make that pink color, I can even use the top of the paper here. I'm gonna test it out. Like, okay, I wanna put that on. Let's add a little bit more of this nice little light violet right here. Build that up. Okay, let's see what happens when I burnish it with pink. So I'm gonna press here. I'm like, oh wow, that's okay, that's pretty good actually. So then I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit with a little bit of white. And I'm like, okay, cool. Can you guys see that? Oh, there you go. I'm really bad at this, you know, this is kind of new. So I will redo that. Okay. So again, how I did that was I took a little bit of the red violet, and put it down. And then I started layering it up with the light purple color. And then I took my pink and I put that down and starting to burnish a little bit more with my pink, which gives me a nice dark version of the color I need. Now I need to get a tint of that color, so I'm gonna add a little white. And then, behold, that is the color I need. So now I'm gonna keep moving around and building up some of my other colors. So before I start there, again, I wanna take my kneaded rubber eraser and lighten some of my pencil marks. So the first color I see is kind of like this red violet around the outside here. Now I do have like a white outline, so I'm gonna avoid that area right now. Again, you cannot use your white colored pencils to put white down. You have to leave that the white of your paper, but then you could go in with your white colored pencil and then basically make it burnish and waxy so it's the same consistency as the rest of your drawing. So I'm building up this color. So now I have that in there. Now if I do want to go in and make it a little darker, because I realized that wasn't as dark as I want, I'm going to use this kind of blue indigo color. So this isn't black, this is blue indigo. And I'm gonna just put that down here. So you can see how important layering is to kind of get all those fun colors that you need to color match. And it takes some trial and error before you become pretty good at this. So then I'm gonna start burnishing the first color I laid down. Oh, there we go, that's perfect. If your hand's not hurting, you're not doing it right. So your hand will start to cramp up a little bit. So as I move away from my dark spot, I'm gonna start to lightly transition this color into my next one. So there's an even transition of colors as you move through. Then I'm gonna revisit this purple color, start to burnish it along the lines here. Of course, I wanna transition it to my previous color. I'm going to use a little bit of white to lighten up the color that I created because it's a shade of the color I need. I need a little bit more of a lighter tint. Again, you don't want to use your white too much because you don't want your colors to all be completely chalky looking. But in this case, this part of the flower has a chalkier look to it. So because I'm shading nice and smooth with my layering colors, you can see how nicely the Prismacolors start to blend all the way through. You get a little residue, do not use your hand. You could just blow in it, or you can use your old little friend here and do a little whoop whoop. Everyone should have theirs, hopefully. All right, so as I continue to go down into my shadow, I'm gonna use a little bit of brown. This brown, I'm gonna use brown instead of black because again, black is so aggressive when you're working with such vibrant colors. Brown's just gonna be a little bit softer because again, remember our black color pencils tend to have a little bit more of a cool color to it. So when you mix it with white, it's gonna give you a little bit more of like a bluish gray. The brown is just gonna be a little bit more warmer and it's gonna go better with the red and red violet. So I'm gonna use that in my shadow instead. So I'm gonna transition that out. And I want to make sure that I'm completely burnishing it all together here, like so. So now I want to make sure that I don't forget about this little area here. It needs a little burnishing love. Oh, I like that. Looks good. Gonna do the same up here. Right. So that's kind of roughly how you are going to burnish and layer and put your colors down. So good luck, have fun. All right, so that's your quick little lesson on how to burnish and match colors with your color pencils. I hope it was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, definitely text me on a Remind app. Feel free to send me pictures. And I will do my best to try to help you match the colors you need. But again, it's very exploratory. You want to explore, go after it, try different things, and you want to basically do the best you possibly can, okay? So again, you have any questions, definitely let me know. All right, happy shading and good luck.